Hello, 8th grade science. This is our second instructional video for week 4. And if you look, it follows the activity, the dog breeding center, which is artificial selection. So to kind of think back on what we've been learning about this whole unit, the standard one was a lot about identifying adaptations, which are just traits that help an animal to survive or reproduce, and kind of I think it would be more keying into the idea that certain adaptations exist or are helpful because of the environment they live in. For example, polar bears do really well in a snowy environment because their fur keeps them warm. It's white that helps them blend in. So that fur would then be an adaptation. It's helping it survive because of its environment. And a lot of what natural selection is all about is how the environment influences which traits are successful and which traits aren't, and thus, which animal is successful and which one's not. The second standard was a lot about how do traits, adaptations, how does that impact the population as a whole, that numbers game? And that's why we did some of that graphing. Now we're going to move on to a related but different idea, and that's artificial selection. Natural selection is all about the environment and kind of the natural way of things. Artificial is humans, us selecting for certain traits. And we mainly do this in like anything related to a farm, so farm animals and farm plants, but we also do it in pets as well. And so that's why we're looking at this assignment called the Dog Breeding Center. What we're going to be learning about is different ways or different methods that humans have to artificially, or we pick the traits that we see in plants and animals to create a more desirable organism. And I'll kind of talk about more what that's like when we look at the Dog Breeding Center game. Your success criteria is you can identify how those organisms, in this case dogs, were changed from their natural ancestor to the modern, and explain basically why humans did select for the traits that they did. If you look at our lesson plan portion, there's bell work that's linked right there. There's a video about, I think it's hyenas or hunting a lion or vice versa. And then there's this artificial selection pear deck. I want to get this open. Ooh, can I find it? It's linked on my other stuff here. I just kind of want to walk you through what I'm thinking of here. So what you're going to be doing, this is a guessing game. You're going to be looking at the ancient version of different plants or animals, and you have to guess what their modern day equivalent is based on the picture of the ancient one. And so a lot of times you're going to see a plant that maybe looks similar to what we eat today, what we grow today, but it looks really, really different because it hasn't gone through where humans are picking for certain traits. So if we look at the first image here, this is our example, I think. So we have an ancient cucumber. You guys know what the modern cucumber looks like, really big, longer thing. This is what it used to look like back in the day. So kind of crazy. If you look at our first example, you guys are going to answer, trying to think about what does that look like? How has it changed? And you'll kind of write about how it's changed over time. You'll have to figure out what this is. I'll give you a hint. It's a banana. And you can kind of tell based on like the skin. The skin looks really similar to a banana. But the seeds are huge, huge. And we don't obviously want lots of seeds in our banana. So we picked really, we selected for smaller seeds and a bigger banana. And this one is not very big. This one should be pretty easy. And then this last one is usually kids get it right away too. So that's that little activity. This should be on student pace mode, I think, when you get it pulled up. There's no notes, and then I'll go through how to do the dog breeding center down here. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.